Hiring led everyone to presume that Rob Gronkowski would be returning to the Bucs again next season, but Gronk isn't so sure. He told TMZ Sports, "I knew if I started catching some passes that my head would have started turning like, oh crap, I got to get back out on the field. And right now, I'm not ready to get back out on the field. I'm not ready to commit to the game of football right now."
Yeah, well, he takes a lot more hits than Brady. I'd be much more reluctant if I was a tight end or a fullback or a guard than I would a quarterback. Quarterbacks get paid a lot and don't get hit as much.
And he's also retired once, so he knows the feeling of giving his body that type of rest. Gronk has nothing left to prove. I mean, he is a first-ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best, if not the most dominant, to ever play that position. And he played 10 games last season, 6 touchdowns, 802 receiving yards. He said he's not going to catch passes from anyone other than Brady. So obviously we assumed that he was going to retire if Brady didn't come back this season. But I can also see Gronk just giving himself some space. There's no rush to make that decision. If he does come back, he doesn't have to be, the workhorse in the situation either. So, but once you get that taste of the silk sheets and relaxing, it can be tough to sign up for those hits again.
Yeah. Enjoy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And Durant has lived up to his end of the bargain with Brooklyn. Kyrie is of another world half the time, and James Harden quit on the franchise, and Ben Simmons now won't play. So, and we don't know if Steve Nash can coach. He's a smart guy. I don't know if he can coach. I mean, I don't think he's Eric Spoelstra. I don't think he's Ty Lue. But, I mean, he's learning as a coach, right? So, Kevin Durant said yesterday it was his injury in mid-January that derailed the team. Well, how can you derail something that's never actually been on the tracks? Since KD and Kyrie have joined forces in Brooklyn, they have the 13th best record in the NBA. 13th. That's below the Lakers, who've been a hot mess for 2 years. That's below the Grizzlies and the Raptors. They've won 54% of their games. Charlie Sheen was on the number one TV show in America. His career got derailed. Tiger Woods was the number one or number two golfer in the world. Then there was the incident in Florida. His career got derailed. The Colts, when Andrew Luck suddenly retired, they got derailed. Now they've had 4 quarterbacks in 4 years. I mean, they gave him an offensive line finally, some weaponry, a defense, an offensive head coach. The Colts were derailed, and they've been scrambling since. The Nets have been hype and promises and weirdness and what-ifs. That's all they've ever been. They've been optimism. They haven't been good. They've won 54% of their games in the East. The only person that has lived up to the billing has been Kevin Durant. He's been great when he's healthy. And by the way, we all know Kevin at this point is not going to play 82 games. May give you 65. Best player in the world often. Not the most valuable, but the best player in the world when he's on the floor and healthy. But the NBA media and the NBA reality of the Nets are two different things. They have won 54% of their games in a league where the bottom 8 teams are unwatchable. They have not been derailed. They've never been on the tracks. They've never been going anywhere. They've had one really great series, which Kevin Durant almost single-handedly carried them over Milwaukee. Durant's never been the problem. So he can blame himself. Dude, Ben Simmons can't play, Kyrie couldn't play home games, and James Harden quit. Durant's not the issue. He's been the solution to all their weirdness and hype and promises and what-ifs. He's not the problem, but nothing's been derailed here. They are this minute what they've been since day one. Talented and disappointing. Joy with the news. No. Stars and tech stars and political stars, a lot of them. In sports, there is nobody close to as popular as Magic Johnson. Nobody's close. No Laker ever. Certainly no Ram, no Dodger. I've been in Staples Center when Magic Johnson, all these years later, just comes through the tunnel. The entire crowd stands. No, I'm not joking. The entire crowd stands to get a look at Magic Johnson. He is absolutely beloved, and there's nobody who has more impact in this city ever. Maybe it's Jordan in Chicago, Jeter in New York, but in Los Angeles, Magic talks and is critical, and he's rarely critical. Magic's a nice guy. Magic says nice things. Magic elevates others. But Magic Johnson went on Get Up, Mike Greenberg, Get Up yesterday, ESPN, and delivered this blow about LeBron, the general manager.
The blame that he's got to take is the fact that DeRozan ended up in Chicago and not with the Lakers. DeRozan wanted to play for the Lakers, and when I got the call from his agent, I called the Lakers, said, hey, he wants to come home, and DeRozan could have been a Laker instead of a Bull. We could have made that deal, but when Russell and LeBron and them started talking, that's when they nixed that deal, and Westbrook, he became a Laker instead of DeRozan.
By the way, DeRozan's averaging 28 a game, a career high. He's an all-star, and he has acknowledged earlier Lakers did him dirty. By the way, Magic's known this for a long time. Why did Magic now decide to go public? Because he is close with Jeannie Buss, a very strong woman. And Jeannie Buss said, Magic, I'm done taking all the heat for this. I'm tired of getting ripped by the media. Do me a solid. And so Magic Johnson went on ESPN. He got the go-ahead from Jeannie Buss. I'd like to thank Magic. I'd like to thank Jeannie Buss. And I'd like to thank the Lakers. They're taking their franchise back. And I'm pro-LeBron. I know all his associates. I like them all. I'm pro-LeBron. But, bro, this is L.A. This is not Akron. This is the Lakers, not the Cavs. You're old, not young. The Lakers are saying enough is enough. Jeannie Buss is saying, I've seen you dismantle 4 franchises, and we did it for you too. And I know you want to own a team. Michael Jordan does. And we're all for you owning a team. Not ours. Not now. This is the ultimate line in the sand as a franchise. Enough is enough. Remember at the All-Star break, Rob Pelinka and Clutch Sports battled. Multiple sources. I'm reading it here. Clutch was not happy with Rob Pelinka because Clutch Sports, which represents LeBron, called Pelinka and said, trade Wall for Westbrook. Wall in a first-round pick, Westbrook in a first-round pick for Wall. And Clutch Sports, that's what they wanted. They said the Westbrook deal, our client's getting crushed. Wall hates Houston. And Rob Pelinka said, no. No, we didn't want Westbrook. You guys wanted Westbrook, and you're going to have to live with this mess. We're not going to do a solid for LeBron. We did you a solid. We wanted Buddy Hield. We wanted DeRozan. They wanted us. I mean, this is not, by the way, these are not rumors. It is understood in NBA circles. Buddy Hield and DeRozan were coming here instead of Westbrook. But LeBron, who has fallen into this too cool to care vibe this year, has distanced himself from this story. And Jeannie Buss said, enough. Okay, we're good partners. We're good partners. We appreciate the singular championship. But you and AD and Clutch Sports, we haven't won a single playoff series since you arrived in Los Angeles. That was a bubble. We didn't make any money for that. That was great for you. Wasn't great for us. Now, I'm blaming you, but we're not giving you credit for it. It's a championship. We got banners and retired jerseys. We got Wilt upstairs. We got Kareem upstairs. We got Shaq upstairs. We're the Lakers. We're not the Cavs. So we know you want to own a team. Not going to be ours. And so this was needed. It was necessary. And I've said this before. Jeannie Buss needs to get on the phone, move Westbrook at the end of the year, try to move AD, and build around LeBron if he is willing to play with younger players. He's never wanted to do that. He could have had, rookie Andrew Wiggins in Cleveland. He's like, give me Kevin Love. I don't want to play with kids. I don't want to teach him the game of basketball. And in his prime, he had every right to do that. But LeBron got called out. And when Magic talks, people listen. And Magic's known this is true for a year. Why is he delivering it now? Because Jeannie Buss said, enough is enough. We're taking our franchise back. How LeBron reacts to this is going to be fascinating. But it should be noted, Magic is significantly more popular than any athlete in this town and 1,000 times more popular than LeBron in Los Angeles. All right. So I am jaded as a college basketball fan. So, and the reason being is My first job out of college was in Las Vegas, and I covered Jerry Tarkanian and the Runnin' Rebels, arguably the greatest college basketball team of all time. And college basketball was different in the 80s and 90s. You could be Tim Duncan, Patrick Ewing. You'd come back for like your senior year. Now it's a very transactional sport. There are no great teams anymore. You'll have individual great players, but there are no more great teams. College basketball was so good in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It was so good in the 80s. There was once a team in Houston called the Cougars, Phi Slamma Jamma. You can look them up on YouTube. They had Akeem Olajuwon at center, Hall of Famer, Clyde Drexler at guard, Hall of Famer, Larry Michoud, Michael Young, look up Rob Williams. They couldn't win a championship. There was a St. John's team that had Mark Jackson, Chris Mullen, Walter Berry, Bill Winnington, Louis Carnesecca as a coach. They couldn't win one either. There were Georgetown teams with multiple NBA players.